What is safeguarding in sport? Well, sport forever has had rules that cause the safety of athletes during training, during participation in competitions. Things like, for example, in rugby, if there is a high tackle, the safety officer, being the ref, would ask a person to leave the field. Or, for example, in hockey, the goalie wears certain clothing. In gymnastics, there's padding that's put on the floor. That is safety. Safeguarding is talking about the relationship between the coach and the athlete, or essentially any two people that would come together as a result of the sport. And the realization that when those two people come together, or any two people come together, there is the potential for that relationship to become toxic. And sport has to take responsibility for ensuring that vulnerable athletes are not taken advantage of. So where does all this come from? Because sport has been around forever. As South Africans, we are extremely competitive. And now all of a sudden there's this focus on something called safeguarding. So let's give it a little bit of a context very quickly. In 2015, UNICEF put together something called the 2030 Agenda. The 2030 Agenda was to reduce crimes against women and children by 2030. In 2017, something called the Kazan Action Plan was drafted. It was drafted in a city called Kazan. 116 countries signed it, and really what it was looking at how sport can play a role in safeguarding. The Kazan Action Plan South Africa was a signatory to it, and very quickly there were three things that had to get done on the Kazan Action Plan. Number one, you needed to make sure that every sporting federation within your country had a safeguarding policy that ensured that all coaches and clubs adhered to. Number two, you needed to make sure that in accordance with the country you were in, that you needed to do clearances for all the persons that may engage in your sport from an ongoing of the sport perspective. And the third is education. Federations need to take responsibility for making sure that at every club, on every tour, there is a designated safeguarding officer, someone who makes sure the policy is being adhered to. And education is almost twofold, because the second part is a basic understanding of safeguarding by all persons, all adult persons engaging in the sport. So that's kind of where it came from. To jump forward very quickly, coming out of the Kazan Action Plan, in 2017, in 2018, we ran the Conference for Safeguarding in Sport. In 2019, SASCOC developed their safeguarding policy. In 2020, well, COVID kicked in. But once we got into 2021 and we ran the 2020 Olympic Games, South Africa and sport really started finding their feet in terms of moving forward and adopting safeguarding. Some federations have adopted it with a lot more enthusiasm than others, but in all honesty, this is something that all sports internationally, every single club is going to have to adopt, because the time is going to come, I honestly believe, that there will be an exclusion of federations who have not met certain safeguarding. And in all honesty, for the federation to meet their safeguarding, that needs to drill all the way down to the grassroots level. It needs to get down to a space where at the club, at the tournament, there is a designated safeguarding officer policing a policy that the federation has put in place. Because failing to do that is going to become unacceptable. The unacceptability, I honestly believe, is going to create an exclusion from competition. So my suggestion, I strongly suggest that all sports clubs, all provinces, all districts, all federations take a long, hard look at the safeguarding that is happening within your organization. It is vital that the 4 and 6 is applied to every single club. And it's vital that the designated safeguarding officers that are trained and educated and upskilled within your organization are not just upskilled and we go, okay, we've got the people that know how to do it. More importantly, they have to be empowered. You need to take a situation where you take your designated safeguarding officer and make it a part of your constitutional safeguarding policy that every club board, every club committee must have a DSO on that committee. And that DSO needs to feed back to the committee saying, this is where we are with safeguarding. This safeguarding may incur a little bit more of an expense for the club. So let's bring it to the committee. We've got a challenge with one of our athletes or with one of our coaches. Bring it to the committee. Upskill someone that has the skill set to ensure safeguarding, and the 4 and 6 are being applied in your club, in your district, in your union or province, and in your federation. For any information on safeguarding, and it's vital that we get this right, please, guys, reach out to us. Even if it's just a question, reach out to us. Thank you.